It's a great day to move. This is the real-time version of the Turn Back Time Limberness series in the lying position. Come with me, let's get started. Okay, we're starting on the mat. This can be you doing this in bed right when you wake up, or it could be doing this on the floor. Limberness series laying down. I'm going to start off with my ankle flexing and extending, pointing and flexing my ankle. What I'm doing is I'm really pulling my toes towards me as much as I can. As my body heats up and the tissues get softer, I'm going as far as I can with my toes. Then I'm going to rock my ankle right and left. I'm doing about 5 to 10 reps on each, driving the neck down, pulling the head long, and then I'm circling in both directions. As I get softer, I'm also bringing my leg closer to my torso, trying to keep my leg locked out, change directions, trying to keep this knee locked out. So as I'm getting softer, I'm making this harder and more challenging. That's totally up to your comfort level. I'm going to switch legs, pointing and flexing. Notice that I'm supporting my spine with this leg, pointing and flexing as much as I can. As I get softer, I'm making it more challenging by pulling more towards me, by locking out my knee more, by bringing my leg more towards me. Rock laterally through the ankle, driving the neck down. That stretches the whole back of my spine, about 5 to 10 reps. Now I'm going circles. If this is too fast for you, please go at the pace that feels comfortable to you. You can always pause the video, changing directions, warming up that ankle so that when I get on my feet on the floor, if I've just woken up, my body isn't so traumatized. Okay, switch legs. I'm going to bend and extend. Now I'm working down to the knee level. I'm trying to keep my neck flat, my head pulled long, pulling my toes towards me. As my tissues get more warmed up, I'm trying to bring my thigh closer to me, challenging myself. I use this exercise in the morning for me because of my back injury to really release my back. You wouldn't know it, but when I wake up, I can hardly stand up straight. I'm in a lot of pain from just arthritic back, and I use this as my go-to so that I can stand up and be normal, and it feels so good. So I'm heating up the tissues of the back of my leg that go all the way up my back. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to work on the hip, and we're going to allow the knees to fall open. Be cautious on the first rep or so because your knees and your hips are not ready for that. So you're going progressively only as far as your body is willing. We're going open and close, and we're just lubricating, heating the groin and the hip sockets. We're going to be moving these hip sockets in both directions, externally and internally. Let's do a couple more. Every time I go, I try and go a little bit farther because my tissues are allowing it. Now I'm going to walk my feet to my buns, walk my feet as wide as they're willing to go, try and make my feet parallel, drop one knee in. And that's stretching all through here. Once I drop the knee in and it feels okay, that I got the green flag that I can go farther, I'm going to pull the knee down and pelvic tilt this hip and drive up, and I feel that stretch right through here. And that's loosening up this whole hip socket. Release the intensity, slowly come on out and switch sides. Drop the knee. If I get the yes from my body that I feel okay in this position, I pull the knee down further, pelvic tilt this hip and drive up and intensify the stretch. I'll hold it for a moment. I'm going to switch sides, drop the knee in, pull the knee down, tuck the hip, drive the hip forward, feel the stretch through that hip, hold it. When I'm ready to release, I stop intensifying, come on out of it, drop the other one in. It's very important not to move in transition when you're flexing and intensifying. I find that that's where people hurt their tissues when they're transitioning because they're not really paying attention, and slowly come on out of that. Now I'm going to walk my feet back in, bring my knee into my chest, extend the other leg out. I'm going to drive my opposite heel away, pulling the toes towards me,
pull this knee into the chest, drive my neck down, flatten my shoulder blades. I'm pushing the opposite heel away as I pull the knee in, driving the neck down, pulling the head long. And this is a great front hip stretch. It's also great to compress your large intestine, your colon. Switch sides, pull the knee in, drive the opposite heel away, pulling the toes towards you, drive the neck down, pull the head long, flatten the shoulder blades. Now if you feel any pinching in the front of the hip, you can come out and go around a bit. Do not go into pinching. That's not really healthy for your body. Back off a little bit if you feel pinching. Moving on to the back butt stretch, I'm going to cross my ankle over my knee. Try not to go so far across that knee. Bring the foot to the knee, and I'm going to push this knee away. Now when I do that, I'm driving my neck down, pulling my head long, and driving my spine down. I'm feeling the stretch all through this hip, and even my core is activating when I do that. And then I'm going to take my knee and I'm going to pull towards the spine, drive the neck down, pull the head long. This feels so good on the back. And then push away. We're creating this amazing pumping action through this hip socket by pushing, decompressing, and then pulling, compressing, drive the neck down, pull the head long, feeling it all through here. One more time. Pushing, decompressing. When I drive my head long, it automatically engages the core. And then pulling, I'm pulling towards the spine and even over towards the opposite shoulder, driving the neck down, pulling the head long. And then switch legs. Cross, the ankle is at the knee, pushing. Notice if you feel a difference in the sides. It's very common that you'd feel one side to be tighter. As I drive away, I'm decompressing the hip socket, driving the neck down, pulling the head long. My core activates all by itself. And then I'm going to pull across, pull towards the spine. Now if you feel pinching in the front of that hip, don't pull so hard. And then push away, drive the neck down. Notice the core is tightening. Push away, decompressing this hip socket. And then pull towards you. Pull towards the spine and even across to the opposite shoulder. Drive the neck down. That's a great stretch for the back of the neck. One more time, pushing away. Drive the neck down, pull the head long. This activates the core, so even though we're working on limberness, this is already getting core work. And then pull towards you. Drive the neck down, flatten your shoulder blades. Switch legs. We're going to now start some rotation in the spine. Same foot position on the knee. I'm going to start by rotating right and left. Now, your first rotation does not have to be all the way to the floor or to the bed. You go in the range that feels comfortable to you. Start small, get bigger. If you can go all the way, then go all the way, but always listen to your body. So this is starting the rotation through the spine, working up to the spine from the hips, back and forth. This is also core training again. In order to move my legs like this, my torso has to work all those muscles. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it one side, and I'm going to push this knee away. And I'm going to tuck my hips a little bit, pelvic tilt. Just like that. Hold that. Drawing in my core. And slowly come off of that. Switch sides. Cross the ankle. Turn. Again, go progressively in the range that feels comfortable for you. The speed that you move is the speed that your body feels safe and comfortable at. You can go faster than me or slower than me. That's up to your body, and that may change as you get in different condition. We'll go a couple more. Feel the spine turning and heating up and lubricating. If you feel pinches, don't go that far. I'm going to hold here, push the knee away. I'm going to draw on the core, feeling the stretch through this hip socket right there. And slowly come back out of that. And one of my favorite movements for the spine as well as the hips, I call it knee circles. Let's go ahead and bring the knees up Hold on underneath the knees or over the knees, whatever's comfortable, and start by moving your knees in gentle circles. The circles can be as small as you want, as slow as you want, and continue to speed up or get bigger as you feel comfortable. As you bring the knees up to your chest, it decompresses your spine, creates a beautiful undulating, hydrating action for fluids going into the spine area, all the tissues, soft tissues in between the spinal bones, change directions. This movement with the knees tilts the pelvis, rocking it forward and back, which flexes and extends your spine, creating a beautiful hydrating motion. This is one of my go-tos when my back is hurting me. Bring the knees into the chest, hug the knees. I'm rounding that back, pulling my tailbone up and under, so this stretches the spine and compresses the hips, drive the neck down. Then I'm going to bring my knees over into fetal position on one side. Bring the arm back, flatten out the shoulders, scoot so my spine is straight, arms out like a T, turn the face right and left. Right and left. Each time you turn, can you turn any farther without having any negative feedback? No pain, no pinches. One more time. I'm going to hold my face facing away from the legs. There's a little corner on the back of my head that I try and catch to turn me a little farther. If I want to intensify this, I'm going to bring my head back up. I can extend my leg and bend it. Now to make it even harder, I pull these toes back towards me. Back towards me. I can make it even more intense by pulling in and bending and extending. And one more option, if you want to make it more intense, is to bring this other leg down. Just like that. I think I'm going to show you one more option. I'm going to take this back leg and pull it behind me. This becomes a quad stretch on the bottom leg and a hamstring stretch on the top leg. Now this is much more advanced. If you need to, you can keep it here. You can keep it here. Switch sides. I'm going to bring this hand over, belly tight, flip over to the other side. Knees up. Hands out like a T, scoot over to straighten my spine. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn my face right and left, progressively in the range that feels good to me, in the speed that feels good to my body and safe. Then hold the head. There's a corner at the side of your head. Try and catch that corner and use that as some leverage. Turn my head back straight, extend the leg and bend it. This brings the stretch all the way down the back, down the butt, through the hamstring. As I extend the leg, I pull the toes towards me. If I want to make it harder, I can go ahead and grab this leg. As far as the number of reps go, I'm doing this until I feel a change and a softening and easing in the tissues. Now the most advanced part, I'm going to collect this foot, drive the knee back as I pull this leg up. So this is a quad stretch on the bottom leg and a hip stretch on the top leg, or a hamstring stretch if I extend. Slowly coming out of that, belly tight, come back to the center. Okay, we're on to shoulders, upper body now. Notice that we're moving from the bottom of the body, ankles, to the hips, to the spine, now to the shoulders. Shoulder shrug series, we're going up with the shoulders to the ears, down away from the ears, up and down, softening all the musculature around the neck and the shoulder blades and the collarbone. I call that the shoulder girdle. Often these muscles get really short and tight from sleeping positions. Now I'm going to try and touch the shoulders in the front and then squeeze the shoulder blades in the back. Touch them in the front, squeeze them in the back, in the front. Again, your speed is totally personal. If this is moving too fast for you, move slower. Pause the recording. Now I'm going to go ahead and lift the arms. The whole purpose of this series is to move the shoulder girdle, which is the collarbone, and the shoulder blade that work in tandem, to move them in the biggest range that they're able to comfortably, to keep that track of motion mobile, soft, lubricated. I'm going to take my hands in prayer position, come on all the way up and bring those elbows up and then bring them back. Bring those elbows up and bring them back. It's not so important that you keep the prayer. You can keep the elbows close if you can. Right here, the bed or the floor is actually restricting me. I could go a little bit farther, but that's okay. We're still getting good range of motion. Right here, we're going to open the hands. I'm taking my elbows a little off the floor to rotate my arms a little bit more to get a little bigger range than the floor allows. So rotating those arm bones out. Now what happens in normal life when we're living against gravity is these muscles get tight, so the body wants to do this. So what I'm doing is doing the opposite, opening up. Opening up. Couple more. We're going to start by bringing one hand up and then the other hand up in the range of motion that feels comfortable to your shoulders. If you hit a pinching at the top with your shoulders, don't go that far. Just go right up until you hit a pinch, just before that. Use that as the boundary. Looking up to the sky, looking up to the ceiling. And you can then switch that to both arms together. Both arms up and both arms down. I'm working to drive my neck pretty flat. There's an arch in your neck. You can keep it more straight and flat as opposed to make sure you're not jutting the chin up like that. Go ahead and flatten that neck. And then for the second dimension, we're going to go wide to the hips and then to overhead. This serves to loosen up the track of your shoulder blades so that your shoulder blades don't get stuck to your rib cage, so that your arms can move in full range without hurting your rotator cuffs and hurting other parts of your body. One arm up, one arm down. This also makes your lymph nodes have more vitality and vigor. It moves those tissues, it pumps the lymph through those lymph nodes in your armpits. You have a lot of lymph nodes in your armpits. And then we're going to go ahead and go third plane across the chest and then open up. Switch the arm that's on top across the chest and open up. As the arms come across the chest, your shoulder blades are separating, open up all that flesh in your back. You can even squeeze your shoulder blades and then pull them apart and then squeeze the shoulder blades. And then we're going to take both arms to one side. One shoulder blade lifts a bit, then to the other side, the other shoulder blade lifts a bit. So this really moves and pumps the flesh and all the tissues, all the cells in the back of your body, in the front of your body, at the level of your shoulder girdle. Okay, we're going to move on to the neck. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll bring the chin to the chest and then the chin down. Now I bring the chin up as far as it's willing to go and then the chin down. There shouldn't be any pains or pinching. Each time I move a little bit farther. Perhaps about 5 reps. As far as I can go. And then down. One more time. As far forward as you can go. And then down. Now purely tilt. Ear to the shoulder. Ear to the shoulder. I'm not really lifting the head. I don't want to activate the front of my neck. I just want to tilt the sides of the neck. Tilt and tilt. Stop in the center. Tilt. Rotate. This is a rotation, not a tilt. Excuse me. So rotating and rotating and rotating to whatever range you feel comfortable. Perhaps each time you go, your rep gets a little bit longer. I'm going to stop in the center and I'm going to drive my chin up and out and then drive it down and stretch my neck. Drive the chin up and out, drive the head down, stretch my neck. Now these muscles that I work to stretch my neck are those same muscles that resist gravity in a poor posture position. One more time, drive down and stretch. The last stretch we're going to do for the neck is facilitated by the arms. Hands go behind the head. My neck's not working, it's only stretching. Using my arms to pull my chin to my chest. I don't go very far in the first rep, and then I let it relax down. On the second rep, based on what I felt, I might go a little bit farther, a little bit of a hold. I feel all the muscles down the back of my neck into my upper back between my shoulder blades. And pull, a little bit of pause. You will know how far to pull. Listen to your body. I'm going to do one more and pull, chin to the chest, lifting my upper back off the floor. If this hurts you, don't go that far. And come on back. Now I'm going to pull to the diagonal. I'm going to turn slightly to the diagonal and pull my head to the diagonal in the same fashion. I'm using my body to guide me on how far I should go and what my speed should be. About 4 or 5 reps. Notice that my abdominals have to get involved here to pick up my head. So you're going to feel your abs tighten. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. Tilt to the other diagonal. You might feel that going to either side is different. Going to one side might feel different than the other side. Couple more. Notice the little pause I'm doing at the top to give my tissues a chance to stretch. And now the posture stance. This exercise is a great exercise to activate and connect all the muscles that resist gravity. Both legs straight. I start by squeezing my buns, palms forward, shoulders down and back, flatten out those shoulder blades. Drive the neck flat, pulling the head long. Drive the heels away, pulling the toes towards you, tightening both thighs. And again, one more time, walk through the checklist. Squeeze the buns, palms forward, shoulders down and back. Slide the neck back, pull the head long. Drive the heels away, pull the toes towards you, squeeze both legs as you're squeezing both buns. Hold that, don't hold your breath, and then just relax and melt to the ground. Excellent. Well, that's the limberness series, lying down on the bed or laying on the floor, for when you first wake up in the morning to soften up your tissues so they're feeling good when you get on the ground, or for any time you want to do a lying series.